We're touring one of the largest floor plans Taylor Morrison built in the state of Texas, and this home has views everywhere, including a view from the second floor balcony upstairs. Stick with me for a great home tour. Now, this is the Catalina plan built by Taylor Morrison. Now, this specific home was closed on by my clients. We actually built it from scratch, but rest assured, if you like this floor plan, you like the layout of it, there are view lots that you can currently build this plan on, and I'm going to show you those view lots later on in the video. And this specific home is over 5,200 square feet. It's got 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, and there are so many upgrades I'm going to show you within the home. But first, I got to show you this grand entrance where everything opens up, and we got to go right out to the main living area, because this is what I see so many people do when they walk this floor plan as the model home and see the beauty that's here in the Austin, Texas metro area. Now, we are in a community called Travisso. I'm going to talk all about Travisso throughout this home tour and my experience with Travisso, and how everything escalated during the pandemic and how things kind of fell back down, and how some of my clients are really taking advantage of those prices falling back and getting their dream home in the beautiful hills in Leander, Texas, a suburb just outside of Austin, Texas. Now, rest assured, we're also going to get upstairs to that second floor balcony, and I'm going to show you views from so many different angles in this home. And even later on in the video, if you're not planning to build a 5,000 plus square foot home, you want to see smaller homes built by Taylor Morrison, I'll show you some model homes towards the end of this video and discuss different communities comparable to Travisso. But for this home, it's all about the kitchen, because I love what my clients did in this kitchen. So many people who reach out to me through YouTube, they want a strong contrast of style in their kitchen. And I think that starts here with the kitchen island, with the darker cabinets and the exterior cabinets being very light and bright. But I think the focal point of this kitchen is definitely the countertops. Take a look at the waterfall countertops. I love these veins running through the countertops, and my clients ran that same countertop into the backsplash. And I gotta tell you, when you get out to this main living area, your eyes can't help but go out the sliding glass doors, because you capture the views right when you walk in through the front door. And when you get out to the living room, you just want to gaze at that view. But then your eyes go right to left, because you want to see all these upgrades that are in the kitchen that look beautiful. And then behind me is the fireplace that we're going to get to next. But I got to show you this. Do you know what this light's for? It is for if you cook something and you leave it on the stovetop, and then maybe your kids aren't coming down the steps to eat dinner, or maybe your spouse is stuck on a work call, you can turn on that light and it keeps your food warm. And these are the small things that I see in homes that I absolutely love showcasing, because these are the things that people tell me they absolutely love about their home. It's these small things. But the big things also matter, right? Like, we're going to get out to that fireplace tile. I think it complements the upgrades and the design in this kitchen so well. And then I can't wait for you to see the views from that breakfast nook area, along the patio, along the upstairs game room, balcony. There's so much that captures the beauty that's off the back of this home. But I also want to show you these small things too, because sometimes the pantry size is nothing small. I've had people literally say they've walked a 4,000 square foot, 5,000 square foot home, they loved it, and the pantry size is not big enough, and they say, nope, we're passing. And so let me know. I thought the pantry size was very large. And then here we do have a 3-car tandem garage. There is a door out that side, so usually people put their trash cans outside that door. So instead of opening up your garage, walking around to the side of the home to get your garbage, or if you just need to access the side of your home, there is an access way there. And that is one of the upgrades that we chose at the time that we contracted on the home, to make sure that we got some functional things in the home that I thought were great. We also got a built-in mud bench. I think that was done more at the design studio. We have access to the utility room. My clients did a very fun tile that's in here. But I'm going to get back to this space. I really want to get to the breakfast nook area that's in the back here and get to the beauty of this home, because this is why people move to Travisso, and this is why I've been showcasing this community for 5 years. And it's because 5 years ago I came out to this community and I was blown away by the hills, and then I kept showing it to people that were looking to move here from out of state, and they were blown away by the hills. And you know what's funny? It never gets old. When I come out to this breakfast nook area and I see these windows looking out to so much greenery and a hillside in the back, you can't help but want to get out to this backyard patio and just be at peace. I can't tell you how many times I've seen amazing views like this in this community, and you just take a deep breath in. You can't help it. It gives you peace being out on this patio, just enjoying the beauty that's here behind this home. Now, we do have good usable backyard space. We also have no neighbor on the left side. There is a gap between us and the next home, and that does make a difference, especially when you get upstairs to the second floor balcony. So my clients have a lot of great privacy that's here, and I'm shooting this right after they close. So again, shout out to them. I appreciate them paying it forward and allowing me to put a video on YouTube of their home so we can build a dream for somebody else that's looking to move into the hills west of Austin, Texas. And when I say move in here, keep in mind, just like my clients did, you can build a plan from scratch, and it can be this Catalina plan, or it can be other floor plans that are offered by various builders. And there are lots at the time I'm recording this, like this one.
Hey, real quick, I'm at an available lot at the time I'm recording this video that has amazing views, but there is something about these lots that I want to mention to you. I just can't do it in a public facing video, but this is the type of information I like to give my clients who are working with me, so I'm not putting down any options, which I never want to do publicly. I do think this is a good option, but there are certain things I want everybody to know about particular lots that are available here. So if you want to get connected, you want to know what the best lots look like within your criteria, go ahead and scan this QR code if you're watching this on your TV. If you're watching this on your mobile, connect with me and my team. Click on the link at the bottom of the description of this video, and I'd be happy to connect with you on lots that are available. Because at the time I'm recording this video, there are 2 lots available in this section that you can build the Catalina plan or other plans offered in the 80-foot wide section here in Travisso called the Florence Collection. All right, back to the video.
Okay, getting back into the home, there's still so much to see there. I don't know if you saw it on the side there. We do have a gas stub out and then a sink for an outdoor kitchen. A lot of my clients do that after closing. Also, some of the upgrades that were in here, some of them were included by Taylor Morrison, but I can't disclose which ones were. But I can tell you the sliding glass doors off the back wall are fantastic. We did do the second floor balcony that is above this patio. And then on the inside of the home, we did an extended dining room, which I thought was a great upgrade. So I keep calling it a breakfast nook area. And that's because we did an extended dining there, but there's also a dining room at the front of the home. So we'll get back to that formal dining room at the front of the home. There's also a study at the front of the home. There's a secondary bedroom downstairs, which is very large. That's a perfect bedroom for parents or elderly, grandparents, anybody you want staying with you on the first floor. It's fantastic. But what I want to get back to is the primary bedroom, because this primary bedroom, even empty, I feel like looks beautiful, and it's because of these 2 large windows off the back of the home. This makes a massive difference. What I want you to imagine is taking the blinds, pulling them to the side, and each morning, this is your view. Absolutely amazing. And some of these small things I think really matter is just taking a cup of coffee to the breakfast nook area that we just saw and taking a look at the greenery, opening up the curtains, seeing the greenery, and seeing everything wide open, bringing in so much natural light. And that natural light continues right here in the primary bathroom, where everything's very open, and I love the upgrades that my clients chose here. Very neutral colors, but notice the floor tile has some great gray veins running through it, which you saw previously on the kitchen countertop. And then I love this backsplash behind the freestanding tub where they ran it in a chevron pattern. It just kind of forces your eyes to look up and really capture the ceiling height that's in this primary bathroom. Now we'll get back to that backsplash behind the freestanding tub here in the primary shower. It's so big, doesn't need a door. Love the shower niche that's in here, and the design again forces your eyes to look up. And then of course we did the rain shower head in this primary shower as a great upgrade in here. Fantastic layout in this primary bathroom. You let me know what you think about this Catalina plan. It is the showstopper plan for Taylor Morrison. It's why they often have it as their model home. It was their biggest model home in their previous section years ago, but they did sell that a few years ago. And then when they opened up this new section in the back of the neighborhood, they did build the Catalina plan again as a model home, and it's because it shows so well. And I do think this primary bathroom as well as the living room make a big difference. But wait until you see the secondary bedroom down. The study is massive, the formal dining's great, and then the upstairs has all the rooms that you want while still feeling open concept. So I can't wait for you to see it. And again, later on in the video, if you want a smaller home but you love walking these homes as seeing your dream home in the future, but you want a home that's closer to like 2,500 square feet or 3,000 square feet, I do have some Taylor Morrison models that are coming up after this. But stick with me because there are a lot of great upgrades that I think you should see here, especially if you're looking at these plans built by Taylor Morrison. And speaking of plans, I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video because I've had clients build at so many different square footages with Taylor Morrison across the Austin, Texas metro, but the vibe of these plans I think are very consistent with each other. I'll talk more about that later. We'll also talk about Travisso in a second as we get back to the front of the home, but I did want to give you a look. There is 2 access points to the utility room, which we saw earlier from the opposite side where there was a mud bench and then there's access to the garage, but I like this built-in, very functional. Again, I don't think you want to put in plumbing after closing, and so these are the types of recommendations that we make for our clients, that if you're going to try to get this within budget, try to get the structural items that you don't want to do after closing. Now we're going to get back out to the main living area. I want to show you some upgrades that my clients did, and then we'll get to the front of the home. Like I said, there's a study, secondary bedroom there, but I want to talk about one thing here in this living room. Well, actually a few things. There is a 4 outlet at the base here. I think that's really important to do. Love the fireplace style. Again, it complements the upgrades that are in this kitchen. But I want to talk about this view for a second. That view we know is protected because in the community, they already had that sectioned off as greenery. And what most people don't know is there are lots that back up to greenery right now, but that greenery is not protected. Sometimes it's owned by somebody else or it's outside the community and it's not designated as anything. And those are dangerous lots to build on in most cases. And there are lots like that here in Travisso. And so I'd always be careful about these things. Definitely figure out what's happening behind these properties and don't just get one answer. Get multiple answers, get multiple sources, because the last thing you want to do is think you're getting a view and you don't. And I gotta tell you, with the success of this neighborhood of Travisso, I would not be surprised if builders buy up land. I'm already hearing some rumors of it happening around this area, and so make sure your view is protected. If it's not, then make sure there's something that keeps the probability of somebody building around you low. I'll give you a couple examples of that. Actually, at the front of this home, and by the way, this is the secondary bedroom down. Good size here. It's got an in-suite full bathroom. And while we're in here, I want to mention at the front of this home, there is land that's technically owned outside of the community of Travisso, but there are utilities around that area, so we felt like the probability of somebody building right across the street would be fairly low, and even if they didn't really feel like it would be intrusive for this specific lot, and so we felt like it was a good purchase. I had somebody else in another community where behind them is mostly greenbelt, but in the back right of their view, they have a rancher who held on to their acreage and didn't sell to the developer. And that's a good thing. If you got a stubborn rancher behind you, that's great. And hey, when I call him stubborn, I mean, that's a good thing. You should be stubborn about selling your land, right? Like, you own it, you have the right to keep it. And for that rancher, he held on to it. We felt like if he sells it in the future, why would somebody build right up against the property line? It just didn't make any sense, and my clients went for it. So these are the types of opportunities that I'm identifying, and I'm also trying to look for floor plans that are functional. Like I talked about that before. This plan, the view is amazing, but this bathroom is so functional. And the simple reason why is if you end up putting a pool in your backyard, this is a great pool bath to have. So your guests can enjoy it, but you can also have that as a separate pool area. You can also shut that door from the bedroom to the bathroom so it still stays private, and it can serve 2 purposes. And then what's also included at the plan at the time I'm recording this is going to be a powder bath. And what I got to keep going back to, I keep going back to those windows, which you saw off the side of the home. It's in the powder bathroom that we're in right now. It's also in that secondary bedroom that we're in. And this is where these lots are very unique from each other. Most lots in this community, and this is the one caveat that I don't think many people like, is the homes are built 5 feet away from the property line. And that means if your concrete slab's 5 feet away from the property line and so is your neighbor, then you're only 10 feet away from each other. And so sometimes looking out to the side of your home, you're hit right in the face by either your neighbor's home or their windows. And the worst thing is kind of looking out of your window and then you see your neighbor looking out their window. That can get a little bit awkward at times. But what I love about this lot that we're in is it doesn't have that many windows off the right side of this home. Like, you don't see anything in the dining room because the garage is on the other side. But a lot of the windows in the study that we're gonna get to next, in the secondary bedroom, in that powder bathroom, they look off the side of the home, and there is really no neighbor off that side. There's greenery, which is fantastic. Now, we did see a dining room prior to this. That's why there is a butler's pantry area here. I love the upper cabinets. Everything feels complete, but it's all about that backsplash. That countertop is something I love continuing to come back to. And I gotta tell you, I actually saw that get installed. And of course, when it gets installed, it's got usually a blue film over top of it, so it protects the countertop. But I saw that, I knew my client's tile that they picked on the fireplace, and I thought to myself, this design's really gonna hit, especially in this open concept plan. Now, it continues to hit here in this study where we got 3 windows out the front of the home. We got side windows that bring in so much natural light. And you have this secret entryway into storage. I call it secret because I think in the model home, they have this as like a doggy hangout area, and it's so much fun. It's one of the fun things that actually people see in my model home video, and then when they travel here, they can't wait to see it in the model home. So I love seeing that from my clients. I get a lot of people that, from a functional standpoint, all joking aside, they actually love putting their empty suitcases there. And for a lot of people that travel overseas, often you have a lot of suitcases, you need a spot for it, and sometimes the last place you want to go to is the attic to get those things. So I find that storage is underrated. Now, this area is, I wouldn't call it underrated or rated at all. I would just call it unique, and that is the mezzanine area, or Taylor Morrison calls this the sitting area. And it's just a nook area off the stairwell, kind of midway up this stairwell, as just a hangout area. And I think for the model home, they just have a couple chairs there and then like a bookshelf. So if you want to have that as a reading nook, you could definitely do that. But what we're going to keep coming back to is this view. I wanted to show it to you from the stairwell landing, but we just got to go right out to the game room because this is one of the most unique parts of this plan. And that is an upstairs game room and a media room that all capture the beauty off the back of this home. I say that because there are many 5,000 plus square foot homes in this community, amazing view, but their game room looks right to their neighbor that's off the side of them. And that is frustrating to see. And that's why I do like seeing this plan where you get this private game room, 4 windows off the back wall, and a balcony that I'm not going to continue to tease. I just got to show it to you because it is absolutely fantastic. And I got to tell you, if you're cooking dinner right now, please stop cooking dinner for a second and take in this view. Or if you're doing chores, or I get so many people that tell me they're always doing something while watching my videos, and anytime something comes up that's spectacular, they want me to call it out. Well, I'm calling it out. You have to see this amazing view off the second floor balcony because this is what Travisso living is all about. Dream homes, lively, active community, a lot of fun outside this community at the amenity centers, at the events. You should come out here during Halloween. I remember looking at one of my clients' homes at Halloween. They wanted to make an offer on something, and it took me 20 minutes to get outside the neighborhood. It's because kids, families just took over the street, and I love seeing that. And that combination is just special. And to have somebody reach out to you through YouTube, of all things, after doing videos like this for years and build this home and enjoy it, there's nothing more special. So congrats to my clients. And if you're watching this, you're wondering what it's like to build here in Austin, Texas, I got to tell you, there are many options, great views, and beauty all around Central Texas. And I'm one of those people that just will be a straight shooter and kind of tell you what I'm thinking, and I'm never trying to sell a specific area for everyone. I always tell people your criteria is your criteria. You should get a customized recommendation on your best options, and I'm just happy that for my client's criteria, I really felt like this lot was the best option by far, and I'm so excited for them to enjoy it. Let me know what you think about those views, and as we get back into the home, I'm going to show you a media room, but first, I want to show you another lot.
Hey, real quick, I'm at a lot that's currently available at the time I'm recording this video. It's got an incredible view off the backyard. You can see that with homes that are currently under construction on the street, but you can't build the Catalina plan. The lot is not big enough to fit the Catalina plan, but there are a lot of plans that I've done with Taylor Morrison, like the Concerto plan a couple of times, the Arabella plan. I've done so many different plans with Taylor Morrison, and I know the ins and outs of each of them. So if you want to get connected, you want to know what your best options are on view lots or any lots in these new build neighborhoods, go ahead and scan this QR code if you're watching on your TV. Just click send, that will send a text message to me, and that will connect us together where we can jump on the phone and get to know your best options. Now, if you're watching this on mobile, just click on the description. At the bottom of that description is a link to me and my team's calendar. Get connected with us, and we'd be happy to walk you through different options that are available like this in Travisso and other new build neighborhoods. All right, back to the video.
Now, getting back into the home, you got to get this view again from the game room. Like, just imagine having a pool table here or couches and just hang out there, and just that is your view off the back of your home. It's absolutely ridiculous. But what I love most about the second floor area is the media room upgrade. Now, in most builders, when you add a media room, it does add square footage to the plan. But for this specific plan, they have this as a game room. So this is going to be a wide open game room that is just this huge L-shaped room. But for my clients, they wanted an enclosed space and have a different area to maybe make it into like a theater room or something else. And that's where you can do this media room, which simply just adds double doors, a couple walls here, and now you have this separate room. And I do like this upgrade just because the game room is already massive. It's huge, and you can do fun upgrades like this where you can do a projector. So there's electrical up there for a projector, and then that would shoot over to that wall, and then you can make your own theater experience. And I do think at this point, in communities like this, at this square footage, a media room's almost expected. And so I do think it's an important upgrade for this specific plan, but also, you know, your criteria and what you really value in the home is what trumps everything that I'm saying. But I would say, generally speaking, media rooms, very popular, great to have. Now, there are a few other bedrooms in here, a couple bathrooms. Like I mentioned, it's a 5-bedroom, 5.5 bathroom home. There's still a lot to see in here. And while we go through this, I want to talk about pricing in Travisso. And the reason why is on a weekly basis, I get calls from people who are interested in moving to the Austin, Texas metro, mostly through YouTube, but also other social media platforms. And everybody asks the same thing: is now the right time to buy? And I'm going to answer that question in a second. I'm going to cover pricing in Travisso compared to other communities and what you should look for to understand pricing dynamics in the next 2, 5, 10 years. But first, I want to give you a little bit of a background, because there's a lot of people that have anxiety around buying, especially in areas like this, and here's why. In the pandemic, when the market started to go up and people started buying everything left and right, which pretty much happened here in summer of 2020, which at that point, if you were indoors for months, you're wondering, why am I living in the current home that I'm in? You started looking for houses. There was nothing else to do at that time. And all of a sudden in Texas, in the summer of 2020, everything started getting bought up. I mean, there were stories of builders that would literally close their model home at 11 a.m. It's usually open at 10, and they close at 11 because 47 people bought in that morning. It was wild stories of things happening. Maybe not homes this size, but like there were homes and stories that you've probably never heard before of just sale after sale after sale. And builders were mopping it up. But one builder decided that they should decide to put these lots up for bidding. And that builder, by the way, was Taylor Morrison, and I'm not ragging on them. They were the first ones to do it. The other ways of doing it and having a long line of 500 people, it's not great as well, because when you're the 500th person in line, you're probably not going to buy a house, right? Like, so you're not going to, the bidding did at least give an opportunity for people who wanted to buy. The problem with it, though, is the bidding got absolutely ridiculous. There was times where people were bidding, and I can say it now because at the time I wasn't able to disclose it, but I was trying to get inside information from the builder that I could give to our clients. I was trying to do everything that I could to get my clients the information they need to make an educated decision. And what I found is you would have hundreds of bids on a lot. And so people would bid on the lot premium. So it's just on the lot, not the actual price of the home. And they would bid $200,000. And the winning bid for that specific week might be $220,000. Okay, let's say. But the next week, people who lost and were bidding $200,000, they're bidding $190,000. They said, well, the winning bid, I think it was maybe $220. Maybe somebody else said it was $250. Somebody in a WhatsApp group said it was $270. And so literally the very next month, people would bid on a very similar lot, same size, for $280,000, and that would be the winning bid. But what they weren't seeing is the base prices from the builder were increasing, sometimes $40,000, sometimes $80,000. So sometimes month over month, people were bidding $100,000 to $150,000 higher for the same floor plans, same lot size, same everything. And that is absolutely ridiculous. It got to a point where people were bidding $400,000 to $800,000 on lots, not talking about the house price, just the lot. And I said it in a prior video, I'll say it again, I'm so happy I didn't have anybody win bids during that time. I actually never had anybody ever win a bid in Travisso, and I had 20 plus clients bidding on a weekly or monthly basis at that time. There was a couple builders in there, so it was like bi-weekly. We were losing bids, and I'm so glad they did, because the market softened. And then the question was, well, how much is it going to soften? And that was an impossible question to answer. But I always tell people, let's look at your circumstances. Let's look at your criteria. Let's see how you like Travisso compared to other communities. And let's buy in if you think the timing's right for you. And for every single person, it's different, right? Everybody has different criteria. You have to analyze your situation, give a customized recommendation. But here's what I can tell you. Now that the market's pulled back and we're in a community now that will probably be finishing out maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, when it does, I do think Travisso will stand out as one of the premier communities that people will say it's one of a kind. And I gotta tell you, this is not realtor talk. I don't say that about every community, but I do say that about this one because I've had hundreds and hundreds of people reach out to me that are out of state. They reach out to me through YouTube, and when they tour these communities, nobody ever says that Travisso's great, but there's so many communities like Travisso. It is truly one of a kind, and I love seeing people's faces when they first drive through this community for the first time. It's amazing seeing their eyes light up when they see a spectacular view and they just get into this community and see the rolling hills that are here. And for my clients, if they're watching this, thank you for letting me put this on YouTube again. I appreciate you, and congratulations on your home. I think it turned out beautiful. If you ever need anything, let me know. I'm here for you. My team's here for you. And congratulations again. Now, show some love for my clients in the comments on what you thought about their home. And also, if you want a smaller home built by Taylor Morrison, then take a look at this home. Now, this is the Jasmine plan built by Taylor Morrison. Now, this is on what I would call the complete opposite side of the spectrum in terms of what Taylor Morrison builds. Keep in mind, we just saw a 5,200 square foot home, and this home is not 5,200 square feet. This is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom home as a base plan. There is an option to add a bedroom and a full bathroom, which makes it a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom home. And this plan ranges anywhere from 2,200 square feet to just under 2,500 square feet. And this can be built on a 45-foot wide lot. And I'm gonna just cover the main living areas of this home to kind of give you a rough idea of what's out there. And when I say opposite side of the spectrum, the Catalina plan that we saw prior to this, 5,200 square feet, can only be built on at least 80-foot wide lots. So usually these builders have a certain width on most of their lots, and that dictates the plans that can be built on those lots. And for this lot size, it's a 45-foot wide lot. And to get tall ceilings on a 45-foot wide lot, a wide open main living area, and a kitchen, dining, living room that all feel spacious, I think this is a good option that I want to continue to showcase across the Austin, Texas metro, because I think if you are somebody who doesn't need a large home, you want to buy maybe your first home, I think buying in areas that have a lot of forever homes that feels open concept, that's not a ton of square footage, so maybe if you want to rent this out in the future, there's an opportunity to do that. I think these are interesting options, especially for people just starting out in their real estate journey. Now, the two communities that you can build this plan in that are in the North Austin area is going to be Nolina and Parkside in the River. At least that's the two that I'm featuring, and there's a reason why. They're both in Georgetown, Texas, which is a neighboring suburb to Leander, Texas, and some of these communities have great beauty in them, especially Parkside in the River, which does have some topography. Like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't have the rolling hills of Travisso. Nobody really does on these new build neighborhoods, but communities that are sitting here in Georgetown, Texas, I think are strategically located to the growth that's happening along the northwest corridor of the Austin Metro. And I'm going to cover some of that in this video. I'm even going to give you pricing of this floor plan. And when I say pricing, this exact floor plan is for sale at the time I'm recording this video in two of the communities that I just mentioned. So we'll cover that in a second. What I first want to get to is some of the upgrades that are available here on the first floor, because I think Taylor Morrison does this really well. By the way, this is a good pantry size at this square footage, and we're under 2,500 square feet, and that's definitely what I'm hearing is a good size at this square footage. But it's also the upgrades that people, I think, really want in some of these plans that really add value to them. Like, for example, the primary suite, which we're going to get to in a second, does have a bay window option, which really opens up that space. Also, on the first floor, and this is the big upgrade, you can change the 3-car tandem garage space, where the tandem space can be taken out, and you can put an additional bedroom and bathroom on your first floor. And to have 2 bedrooms downstairs in a 2-story plan that is open to the second story in the living room, it's got a lot of natural light in here, and again, we're under 2,500 square feet to get all of that. I think this is an interesting option for that reason. Now, upstairs, there is a media room option, there's another bedroom option there, but there are different restrictions within these neighborhoods where you just can't keep adding square footage to your plan. But get with me on that, because I got a way to get around that. Sometimes it's in a new phase, sometimes it's asking for a restriction release. There's different things that we can try to do there, and because I'm doing so much volume in these neighborhoods with these builders, I tend to try to get exceptions on these different rules. It doesn't mean it always happens. It doesn't mean I can get it 100% of the time. I'll be the first person to tell you that we've gotten no. It's just sometimes there's a restriction, and it is what it is, but we always try, and sometimes we can make that magic happen. Okay, getting into the primary bedroom and bathroom here, and then, by the way, I'm going to speed this up. I want to get up to the game room. There's a media room upgrade in this model home that I want you to see, because at this square footage, again, interesting options with these different things that you can do here. But this is that bay window option that I was talking about. It really opens up that space on the left side, and also adds a little bit more square footage. And for some people that are just starting out, like a lot of times when my wife and I were looking at houses and we were expecting on our first child, we love seeing primary bedrooms with a little bit of a bump out. And it's because we were trying to figure out a place to keep our baby. You know, we were planning ahead, and we really wanted that extra space in our primary bedroom to have a crib. And I think that bay window option is fantastic. And by the way, we have a 3 and a 1-year-old at home, and so we are loving life right now. We definitely got our hands full, but we love every second of it, and we're so glad to plan ahead. And that's what I would always tell people, is do not be fearful of planning ahead on some of these things, because real estate's not the short game, it's the long game, right? You don't want to buy houses and try to sell them after a year or two. You want to hold on to these things long term. And this is what we're telling our clients that are looking at, square footage plans of over 5,000 square feet. They're building their forever home. We're looking at areas that will do well for them, that are in prestigious neighborhoods, that will carry their resale value for many years to come. But we're also telling that to people that are buying plans like this, that are around 2,000, 2,500 square feet. And I'll just tell you, a lot of the strategy is based around building in these communities that will do well over time. As we always say, you never want to be the most expensive, highest square footage home in your neighborhood. And in this neighborhood, there's lots of forever homes. I've had plenty of clients build around 2,000 square feet, 3,000. I've had multiple clients around 4,000 square feet. And the best part is there are larger sized lots coming in future phases that will build most likely larger homes. And that's great for you, because when there's a lot of forever homes in the neighborhood, that tends to help with future resale value. It also makes the neighborhood very livable. The opposite of that is when you're the biggest home in the neighborhood, and then there's a lot of smaller homes that turn into rentals. that can be problematic because it feels a little bit more transitory. And this is just the feedback that I've gotten from people. It's also very evident in how these communities grow over time, where you can see that in the numbers, where sometimes when you see a number flatline, it never grows over time. It's because it's in a community that people don't desire to be in. And these are the things that we cover with our clients when they're looking to build in these areas. And we've had a lot of people here in Parkside on the River. It does have great beauty. It does have now multiple amenity centers going. It's got a school plan. It's got a lot going on in and just outside of the neighborhood. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second, but I also want to hone in on Nolina, where we are, because there is some beauty that's here in Georgetown, Texas, and I think Nolina does take advantage of that. And even though this isn't a view lot, I think you can kind of see some of the beauty that's here when we get outside, and then I'm going to fast forward and get up to the game room, media room upstairs. Now, what I want to cover in Nolina is it is an emerging community that's out in this area that's north of a very popular community called Santa Rita Ranch. And I've had so many clients close in Santa Rita Ranch. It's a very popular community with a lot of amenities. And Taylor Morrison is building there. I've had a client buy the Amatron plan, which is actually their model home at the time I'm recording this. Great plan, very open concept, and carries the vibe of Taylor Morrison through their various different square footage plans that they have. But my point in sharing that with you is, a few years ago, a lot of people were asking me, is Santa Rita so far out? It's actually deep into Liberty Hill. It's close to Georgetown. Are people going to want to live that far out? And you know what's funny is, at the time I'm recording this, nobody says that about Santa Rita anymore. Everybody's saying that about Nolina. Nolina is a little bit further out. There's other communities that are further out, close by to Nolina. And now everybody's saying, are people going to go to Nolina and these other communities? And they're not saying that about Santa Rita. Now, around Santa Rita, the big reason why I think that's happened is there's a lot that's happened around Santa Rita Ranch. There's an H-E-B grocery store. Now there's like dentist offices, banks, there's Torchy's Tacos. There's so many restaurants. There's just a new restaurant called How How that just opened up. I feel like there's always something new happening around that 29 Ronald Reagan Boulevard intersection. And I want to fast forward here to get to the second floor and really show you why I think this plan stands out. But what I'm telling people around this area is, depending on their criteria, there are certain areas around here that I would stay away from, just because I do believe there's going to be a lot of future development. And if you're not planning to hold these homes long term, then I would be careful buying in this area and selling when there's a lot of new construction around you. Now, by the way, there's some exceptions to that. It depends on how much supply of your home is going to be available in the future. Like for my clients that bought in Travisso, even at over 5,200 square feet, guess what? In Travisso, there's 100-foot wide lots now, and there's people building $2 million homes. There's also custom home lots in Travisso where people built very large custom homes. And so they're not the top end, even though they're over 5,200 square feet. And so those areas I think will do over time. And that's kind of that prestige factor that I was telling you that definitely matters and goes into future resale value. But for these areas, I think it makes sense if you get a good price on a home, that we have a strategy for you. If you decide to leave, we can rent it out or something like that. That's what I'd really be focused on when I'm looking at homes around this area. But it all depends on your criteria, and it's hard to give very general advice when I think a customized recommendation is what makes sense for these areas. Now, Parkside on the River is very different. There's a ton of forever homes coming around that area, and I don't foresee many communities just building left and right. And it's because there's topography around that area. It's not easy to build like it is on just flat ranches that have nothing but land around them. Also, the cost of land is much more expensive around that area. And so those are the areas that I tell people, like, hey, if you're going to build a forever home, build it around neighborhoods that have a ton of forever homes. Travisso's a great example of that, and I do believe Parkside on the River is one of those emerging communities that is starting to build a lot of forever homes. Now, I did mention for this plan, I'm going to give you some pricing that's here. So the Jasmine plan, at the time I'm recording this, is for sale in Nolina at just under $457,000. Now, it doesn't have all the upgrades that are shown in this model home, so you just got to reach out if you want details on that. But in Parkside on the River, I mentioned it's a little bit closer in. It's not in an area that has a ton of new construction around it. And so that's why the pricing is a little bit different. The Jasmine plan with some upgrades in it, it's got an extra bedroom and bathroom, a little bit higher in square footage. It's for sale right now at just under $535,000. Now, I did want to get to the Carmine plan for a couple of reasons. First off, I can also give you pricing for this plan in a couple different communities at the time I'm recording this video, but I also want to show you the progression here. The last plan that we just saw, the Jasmine plan, it can be built on a 45-foot wide lot, but the Carmine plan can be built on a 50-foot wide lot. Now, this plan can be a 5-bedroom home, can be anywhere from a 3 to a 4.5 bedroom home, and it can be anywhere from, it's basically around 2,800 square feet, depending on the upgrades that you do. And at the time I'm recording this, they do have a Carmine plan for sale at Parkside on the River for just under $640,000. And that's the all-in price that I'm giving you on some of these plans. Now, stick with me because I got the most popular plan that's coming up with Taylor Morrison on a 60-foot wide lot, and I think you'd be surprised at how open concept that 60-foot wide lot compares to these other plans. But I think, as you can tell in this main living area, this 50-foot wide lot home, the Carmine plan, feels much different than the last one. Doesn't it feel a little bit wider? Even just that 5 feet, I think, does make a difference. But you tell me, am I just thinking that because I walk through a lot of these homes? I feel like even when I tell my clients that these homes are wider, they notice it even before I tell them, right? And they start to say, wow, some of these homes feel so much wider. And it'll be because we're touring a home that can be built only on 70-foot wide lots compared to a home that can be only built on 60-foot wide lots. And you'd be surprised at how big of a difference these homes feel, even just with a 5 or 10 feet of width difference. And while we go through this plan, it gives you kind of a good feel of a little bit more square footage. We're around 2,800 square feet. I want to talk about why these floor plans really matter, because a lot of people don't realize that when you move into these homes and you start visiting your neighbors, you start to get a feel of what's around your community, or years from now, you try to go to resell this home, there are very important parts of how these communities are built out that you should know that really affect your decisions now, so they pay you back later, and also for livability, it feels a lot better. And here's what I mean by that. This is a 50-foot wide lot type of home. We're going to see a 60-foot wide lot type of home after this, the most popular one. But I don't have any 70-foot wide lot homes to show you, just because I didn't have anything completed at the time I'm recording this. But I've done a lot in the 70-foot wide section with so many different builders. And for Taylor Morrison specifically, I think they have great 70-foot wide lot plans. I've had a client build a Concerto plan. I've had a client build the Arabella plan. Actually, both of them built in Travisso. One of them built in, I had two people build the Concerto plan. In Travisso, they got it when it was first come, first serve in a section that had a lot of bidding. And my clients got in on the first come, first serve option that came up in that community. I'm so glad they built a 5,000 square foot home with Taylor Morrison on a 70-foot wide lot. My other client got a Concerto plan in a Bluffview, which is a great community. It's closed out now, but Taylor Morrison was there for a while. But I've also had people look at the Calypso plan. I mean, there's so many plans. The Larimar plan, which can be built on a 60 or 70-foot wide lot, can also be a very popular plan there. And there's so many popular plans in that section. And why that's important is because when you go to resell these homes, the problem with reselling this home when it's very popular and it's the only popular plan is chances are everybody's built that plan. Chances are that home's going to be for sale with 2 other sellers or 3 other sellers. That's a huge problem when you try to go sell these plans and it's for sale over and over and over again with all your neighbors because everybody built the same plan. And while we take in this view from the couch, and my videographer Mark, shout out to him, he's doing a great job really capturing the tall ceilings in a home that is currently listed under $640,000 in a prestigious neighborhood. It's got a lot of forever homes. I want to mention to you that the problem with some builders is when they only have one popular plan, people build it over and over and over and over again. And I do think that that is a problem For livability, a lot of people tell me they go to their neighbor's house, they are in the same plan, then they go to their neighbor's house, they're in the same plan, and everybody's got the same plan, and that can kind of feel a little bit odd, right? A lot of people are fearful of being in like a cookie cutter neighborhood, and that's why builders do these different elevations. So the elevations, the exterior, which is the exterior of the home, they do look different, but when the insides all look the same because everybody's building the same plan, that's not a great feeling when every one of your neighbors has the same home as you. But most, I don't want to say most importantly, for some people that's very important to them. For others, they care more about resale value. They don't really care if their neighbors got the same plan as them or not. But when they go to resell this home, and I've seen this in neighborhoods, there will be 5 of the same floor plan available, and it's because two of that floor plan is with the builder who's still in the community, and 3 of them is they built that plan so much there's 2 other people selling other than the seller. Now imagine this, you're selling your floor plan, your home, and the same floor plan is for sale in your neighborhood with 4 other sellers. You know how hard that is to sell your home then? It's kind of like if I'm a buyer, I'm like, if you like that plan, you have so many options. And then you're thinking, well, I was going to offer this. Maybe I should offer a lot lower because this seller is going up against 4 other sellers of the same plan. And that is such a massive problem when going to sell these homes. So that's something that I'm tracking with these different options. I will tell you that, the Catalina plan that we saw earlier, it is a very popular plan, but the 80 section in Travisso it does feel exclusive. It's not like they have a ton of that option. And so I do think there is exclusivity. So there are exceptions to some of these popular floor plans, but you have to crunch the numbers of not only what's happening in your community, but what's happening around your community. Oftentimes when people tell me, hey, if I sell this in 3 years, am I going to be in trouble? Well, how much of the supply of your square footage is going to be around that area? And how much of that is going to be builders who are going to have incentives and closing costs are going to be covered? That can be very problematic for you. And so these are the things that we analyze to understand what our best options are, but also what our future resale looks like. And while we're in the primary closet, we saw the primary bathroom, bedroom. We're going to head outside next just to check out the backyard. I wanted to talk about this because I think it's really important. A lot of people tell me they want their dream home, they want their forever home, but if they're just starting out, they don't have, maybe they're planning on having a family, but they haven't had kids yet. What I always tell people is, think about these things. Sometimes building your dream home, it's always going to be here, right? This is Austin, Texas. We're going to keep building. There's going to be plenty of new construction options. Maybe look into options like this that are not a lot of square footage. Maybe even the previous option that we saw. I have a lot of clients that are just planning to start a family, and I always tell them, hey, we can look at options up to $800,000 if that's your budget. We can look at $1 million if that's your budget. But why not look at homes around $400,000, $500,000 that in case you want to rent it or you just want to graduate into a forever home later, there are options that you can get that at the time I'm recording this, I think are going to have great future resale just based on the communities and how these communities are getting built out. And that's something that I'm tracking constantly, and I'm advising people accordingly. Like, why buy up to $1 million when you can buy in at 400, rent it out after a year or two? And I have about 4 couples right now who are doing that right now. That's for the exact reason that I told you. They don't need to get into their forever home right now. And so they're buying starter homes and just renting them out after 1 to 3 years of living in them. So if that's you, maybe you're thinking about buying a starter home compared to a forever home. Maybe you want to get a forever home. Maybe you're early in the process. Reach out to us. Me and my team can definitely help you. If you're watching this on your TV, scan the QR code on the right side of your screen and just go ahead and book a call. That will go to my calendar page, and then you can book a call with me. You can also find that same calendar page at the bottom of the description of this video if you're on mobile, or just shoot me a text message. Use my cell phones there, and I'd be happy to connect with you and guide you through what I think your best options look like. Now, in terms of options, again, this was the Carmine plan that can be built on a 50-foot wide lot. We saw the Jasmine plan before this on a 45-foot wide lot. And at the beginning of the video, we saw the big Catalina plan that can be built on an 80-foot wide lot. Now, again, I don't have any 70-foot wide lot product, and if you're following all these numbers, then you should know that you can build on a 60-foot wide lot and actually a 70-foot wide lot, the Larimar plan, which is on the left side of your screen, and that is at the time I'm recording this, for sale Larimar plan. And I actually have 2 clients that are building from scratch right next door to that home. So if you want to get a good look again at Travisso and why it's one of a kind, you have to see that video on the left side of your screen. That is the Larimar plan. Again, can be built on a 60 or 70 foot wide lot. All right, I hope this helped. Take care, everyone.